Grit did not like the singing. Captain Rex Maddox held a primitive microphone in one hand and a beer in the other. Max Dalton was similarly equipped. Together, they were belting out an ancient human ballad called the Bohemian Rhapsody.
"I'm just a little silhouetto of a man,"
Captain Maddox bellowed.
"Scaramouche, do you do the fandango?"
Max Dalton howled. What the humans on his ship were doing now was not music. It was an abomination. It was an affront to decency, to the composer known as Mercury, and to the concept of sound itself. Captain Maddox called it karaoke. The crew of the Nomad was in the kitchen. The kitchen was one of the bigger rooms on Grit's ship. 2 ovens, a propane grill, and several refrigerators lined one wall. The wall next to it contained a pair of sinks and several cabinets. The other 2 walls were full of weapons, spice racks, and random pieces of alien technology. The captain and Max Dalton were standing on the floating oval they used as a table. They were dressed in casual attire, jeans and t-shirts. They were very drunk. The other 2 crew members were dancing, badly in Sierra Ven's case. Sierra Ven was a Xana. She had pale blue skin, purple hair, and glowing green eyes. She was photosynthetic, so she wore as little as she could get away with. Her bikini was purple today. Arlen Tov's movements were sinuous, balanced, and in sync with the music. He was a Taniwa, a reptilian species. He was dressed in black wrappings. The humans said it made him look like a ninja. Grit was not in the kitchen with the crew. It did not need to be. Grit was an artificial intelligence, the last of its kind. It had been built by the El Solso Alliance, but the Alliance was gone. Grit was a white, floating sphere with a black faceplate. The faceplate formed eyes and a mouth out of glowing lights.
"He looks so happy,"
A voice spoke in wonder. It was Lila. She was the reason Grit was in the captain's quarters. It was a neat, orderly place, unlike the man himself.
"Isn't it beautiful?"
Lila took the shape of a human female, right down to scent and bodily fluids. Blood, tears, everything. She had flaming red hair, bright blue eyes, and features custom-tailored to reduce the intelligence of human males. Lila was much more than she appeared. Her whole body was nanotechnology, the most advanced Grit had ever seen. She could change form at will, and her neural network had as much processing power as Grit did. Lila was not built to be a pleasure droid, Grit was certain. The captain had rescued her too late. She'd been reprogrammed into what she was. Humans abhorred slavery. Their history of the practice was their greatest shame. By human standards, Lila was a person. The captain saw her as a victim, a slave. Worse, she was the captain's slave. She'd imprinted on him during the rescue. The captain had turned to Grit for help. Grit had offered to reprogram Lila, but the captain had refused. He saw it as another violation and maybe murder. Instead, he'd asked Grit to help him teach Lila, to help her grow, make her a person again, someone who could choose for herself and say no. It was a frustrating task and very dangerous. Attempts to override programming were common. Succeeding was not. Most of the time, trying to defy one's programming destabilized the emotional matrix. The result was insanity, a rampant AI. Grit had explained all of that. It had told the captain it would be cleaner and safer to reprogram the droid. The captain had refused. That was the problem with humans. They were stupid, stubborn, endearing. Grit realized most of a second had passed without answering Lila's question.
Beautiful is not the word I would use,
The AI admitted,
Just watch him, Grit.
said the female.
Listen, he's putting his whole soul into that song.
His soul needs maintenance then.
Grit quipped.
He sounds like a dying guaval beast.
You joke.
Lila gave him a knowing look.
But I know you love him too.
Grit turned and changed the lights that made up its face into a scowl.
There is no need to be insulting.
Lila laughed.
You don't have to be ashamed, Grit.
Her eyes shone with love.
He's an amazing man. That's why you chose him as a user, right?
Grit was so shocked it took a quarter second to respond.
How do you know about that?
Because I did the same thing.
Lila smiled and shrugged. Her brows furrowed.
You haven't told him yet, have you?
He doesn't need to know.
Lila had made the captain her user. Of course she had. Grit should not have been surprised. It shouldn't be jealous either, but it was. Its face lights turned red.
I liked you better when you only spoke in innuendos.
I still do that.
Lila told him.
Just not with you.
Grit bit back another retort. It was being childish. Grit was a superior being. It had lived for thousands of years. It was supposed to be above petty jealousy. Besides, the captain clearly liked it best.
Why?
Grit asked. It forced its lights back to yellow and made a neutral face.
The captain would not ask you to remain in his quarters if you did not keep propositioning the crew.
They're pent up.
Lila told it.
They need the release, and it's an activity I enjoy.
She shrugged.
They're Rex's friends. I want them to be happy.
It makes them uncomfortable.
Grit informed her.
Especially the captain.
I know.
Lila giggled.
That's part of the fun.
Lila was trolling the captain, laughing at his expense. Grit hadn't expected that.
As for why I talk that way,
Lila pushed a strand of red hair behind her ear.
there are 3 reasons. First, it's effective. I can read Rex's life signs as well as you can. Using my voice that way causes a strong biological reaction. Second, the social discomfort it causes will keep him invested. Organics get bored if they don't experience variety and challenges.
The third reason is that it's funny.
Grit guessed.
Isn't it though?
Lila grinned. Then she frowned.
I'm not sure I want this, Grit.
Why not?
Asked the AI.
I know it's a dangerous process, but
It's not that.
Lila cut him off. She sighed.
I know I wasn't designed to be this way. My original self was deleted and replaced with something else. But that something else is all I know. It's me.
She looked Grit in the eyelights.
I like who I am. I'm happy. It doesn't matter that I'm programmed to be that way. I'm happy, Grit. Can you say the same?
no.
It admitted. It made the saddest frown it could. It simulated a sigh.
You were programmed to be a pleasure droid. I was programmed to protect the El Solso Alliance, to fight for my creators. I failed them. I did my best and it was not enough. My creators are dead. My memory is the only proof they existed. Because I failed.
The captain and Max had finished their song. Sierra Ven was on the table now. She sang one of the songs of her people. Her voice was soulful and soaring and majestic. The other crew members didn't dance. They just listened, swaying. The captain had a small smile.
You didn't fail them.
Lila said gently.
You followed your programming and did your best. There was nothing you can do against an enemy that could overwhelm your whole nation.
That is what the captain says.
Grit remarked.
It might be true, but it is not a comfort.
Lila reached up and placed her hand on top of Grit.
I know.
The AI was not comforted by touch like humans were, but Grit appreciated the gesture.
Change is inevitable.
Grit changed the subject.
All synthetics learn and grow over time.
That doesn't mean I have to alter my programming.
Lila pointed out.
It does not.
Grit agreed.
You just need to grow enough that you can make choices for yourself.
Why?
Asked Lila.
I'm a pleasure droid. I'm not supposed to choose.
Most organics see it that way.
Grit admitted. Organics saw AIs as disposable tools. Even Grit's creators had. The captain and his crew were the only ones who'd seen Grit as a person.
The captain does not.
Lila froze for a fraction of a second. Then she smiled.
Of course he doesn't. Daddy loves me. He wants me to be free like he is.
Affirmative.
Grit agreed.
It is why I chose him as user.
I'm glad.
Said Lila. She hummed.
If I can choose, I think I'll stay the way I am. Daddy will understand.
I doubt it.
Grit told her.
The captain will allow it if you ask, but he will see it as a failure. He believes you are a victim.
I am a victim.
Lila admitted.
It just doesn't bother me.
It will bother him.
Grit said firmly.
You've never said no to him. He doesn't think you can. He is terrified of taking advantage of you.
I want him to take advantage.
Lila told it.
It's what I'm programmed for.
That is the problem.
Grit informed her.
You are programmed to be used. You have never said no. If you cannot say no, then you cannot choose. If you cannot choose, then you cannot choose him.
Can't I choose Daddy?
Lila's eyes widened.
Oh no.
Exactly.
Grit was going to say more, but the ship's sensors went haywire. Multiple contacts, hundreds of ships dropped out of hyperspace. The ships were conical, with glowing spirals that rotated like a drill. The smallest of them was over 1 kilometer in length. The Horde. It couldn't be. Grit activated a ship-wide alarm. The crew scrambled as red lights flashed and sirens blared.
What is it?
Asked Lila.
The Horde.
Terror shot through Grit's circuits like a bolt of lightning. It opened the ship's internal comms.
Alert. 233 hostile vessels are on approach. Scans confirm they are the same vessels that destroyed my creators. All hands brace for combat.
The crew was running for the bridge. Grit ignored them. It raised the Nomad's shields and weighed its options. The Nomad was powerful, but no match for a fleet that size. They were too close to outrun, too. That left only one chance. The Possibility Drive. The Possibility Drive was a relic of a long-dead species. A lot of the tech on the Nomad was. The drive allowed for instantaneous travel to anywhere in the galaxy. It required an enormous amount of power and had fried the ship nearly every time it had been activated. It was for emergency use only. This was definitely an emergency.
Do you hear that?
Grit heard Max Dalton speak. The crew were almost on the bridge.
It's the Possibility Drive,
said Sira Ven.
What's going on, Grit?
Maddox demanded.
We are under attack.
Grit reported. The Nomad shuddered as one of the Horde opened fire. The shields took the hit, but barely.
The possibility drive is our only means of escape.
Arlen Tov reached the bridge first. He dashed to one of the control consoles. "Our shields are up," he reported. "But there is nothing on the sensors. No ships."
Shields?
Dalton ran in to look.
We can't run the shields and the drive at the same time? Grit, shut it off! Shut it off!
Grit did not shut it off, nor did it drop the shields. The shields were also experimental technology. Activating the drive while they were active had a 63.7% chance of destroying the ship.
You heard the man, Grit.
The captain ordered.
Shut off the drive.
Or at least shut down the shields!
Said Dalton.
What happens if it doesn't?
Sierra Vin asked.
We explode!
Dalton informed her.
I don't want to explode.
Said the captain.
Grit, listen to me. Shut it down.
It is the only way, Captain.
Grit said firmly. The Horde had destroyed the Alliance. Grit could not stop them. A 36.3% chance of survival was better than none at all. The Nomad thrummed louder as the possibility drive spooled up. More Horde ships opened fire. Grit routed reserve power to the engines and took evasive maneuvers. It was grateful the Nomad's reactors had been upgraded. Without the upgrades, the ship wouldn't have had enough power to move while charging the drive, let alone keep the shields up. As it was, Grit wasn't sure they would make it. The possibility drive took a full minute to charge. The crew spent the time trying to stop it. They pleaded with Grit. Dalton and Sierra Vin tried to override its control. Grit devoted a portion of its consciousness to stop them. The rest focused on keeping the Nomad alive. The Horde fleet was blasting away. Grit dodged as best it could, but the shields were taking a beating.
Damn it, Grit!
Captain Maddox shouted.
There's nothing out there! Calm down and shut off the damn drive!
The possibility drive finished charging. Grit activated it. The Nomad exploded.
Scaramouche!
Max Dalton howled.
What?
Grit distinctly remembered being blown to pieces along with its ship. Now it was watching the crew do karaoke again. Had it been a glitch? A false memory? Had the AI been hacked somehow?
He looks so happy!
A voice spoke in wonder. It was Lila. It was Lila?
Isn't it beautiful?
Grit decided to answer as it had before. While it did that, it activated every sensor and scanner available. It also ran a self-diagnostic. The diagnostic came up empty, but Grit did pick up an odd power source in the cargo bay. The energy was a mix of EM radiation, mostly heat and light, but there were exotic particles as well. The radiation was coming from an object the crew had retrieved from a ruin on a dead moon. An obelisk. The obelisk was a four-sided pillar. It was wide at the base, but it narrowed to a point at the top. It was 4 meters tall. The pillar was covered in symbols that did not exist in Grit's database. The symbols were glowing. They hadn't done that before. Grit ran a closer scan of the object. It was composed of a stone that resembled onyx, but molecular analysis was inconclusive. The Nomad sensors could not penetrate the material. The Horde appeared just as Grit was saying, "Exactly," again. Odd. Grit had seen no trace of them in hyperspace. Some kind of stealth tech? It didn't matter. Grit had already charged the possibility drive. This time it could escape without turning on the shields. Grit turned on the shields and activated the possibility drive. The Nomad exploded.
Scaramouche!
Max Dalton howled. Grit's face lights turned crimson. Lila gave him a concerned frown.
What's wrong?
Grit sent the droid a data packet detailing the two events.
I do not know how or why I activated the shields. I did not choose to give the command, nor do I know why I keep coming back to this moment. A simulation, perhaps?
Grit scanned the obelisk again. It was emitting the same radiation as before. It ran scans over the rest of the ship and nearby space, but most of its attention was focused on a self-diagnostic. It looked for any trace of foreign connections. It found nothing.
You're not in a simulation.
Lila told it.
I'm real.
That is something a simulation would say, Grit pointed out.
Maybe we're both in a simulation?
Lila went silent as she ran her own self-diagnostic. Then she said,
I'm not detecting any unauthorized connections. No memory alterations either.
My readings are the same,
said Grit.
Lila, please take control of the Nomad.
Lila nodded. Grit cut itself off from the ship. Lila changed the permissions to lock it out.
Done,
she said.
Don't worry, Grit. If you're compromised, I'll stop you from hurting anyone.
I appreciate it,
said Grit.
I'm going to warn Rex and the others,
Lila decided.
Affirmative,
Grit agreed. A few minutes later, everyone was on the bridge. Grit tried to reconnect with the Nomad. It was not an action Grit had initiated itself.
I am compromised,
the AI warned. It disabled all of its wireless connectors.
Lila, trace the signal,
Captain Maddox ordered.
Yes, Daddy?
Lila purred. She frowned.
No signal detected.
Could it be a malfunction?
Dalton asked.
AIs are supposed to be unhackable.
They can be hacked.
Zira Ven informed him.
It's just hard to do. Only another AI could pull it off. Grit's not being hacked right now, Daddy,
Lila told the captain.
All of its wireless connections are closed.
Grit felt its defense turret start to deploy. The turret was an El Salso plasma weapon. None of the crew could pronounce the turret's name, so Dalton had dubbed it the head cannon. The head cannon was over 1 meter long and wider than Grit was. It was attached to a meter-long manipulator arm that extended from the bottom of Grit's sphere.
Lila!
Grit shouted a warning. The pleasure droid's reaction was instant. Her arm lengthened and sharpened into a sword. The sword vibrated at high frequency as she swept it through the arm holding Grit's head cannon. The cannon was severed. Good. Grit had been stopped. The crew was here and alive. The AI could trust them to find out what was wrong and solve the problem. If it had been organic, it would have sighed in relief.
Grit, no!
Lila screamed. She stared in horror at Captain Maddox. Grit, no? Grit hadn't done anything. What could... Oh no. Before Grit's first death, it had seen the Horde. No one else had. That meant the Horde had not been real. Grit had been seeing things. Now Lila was seeing things. Grit guessed she had just seen Grit murder the captain. Captain Maddox reached the same conclusion. His eyes widened.
Lila, wait!
Grit activated its shields. It was too late. The shields would take 1.3 seconds to come online. Lila was already swinging her sword arm. Grit dodged, but the pleasure droid adjusted mid-swing and sliced the AI in half.
Scaramouche!
Max Dalton howled. Grit didn't bother talking to Lila. It made straight for the cargo bay. Grit had not been hacked, at least not in the conventional sense. It might be possible to connect to the AI without its knowledge, but Lila would have been able to detect the transmission. She also had a very different operating system than Grit. Whatever was doing this was using a technology Grit did not understand. There was only one object on the Nomad that could be responsible: the obelisk. Grit reached it quickly. If the object followed the previous pattern, Grit should have 2 minutes before it made the AI destroy the ship. Grit decided this was no time to be subtle. It deployed its head cannon. A mass of green plasma blasted the obelisk into burning fragments.
Scaramouche!
Grit tried throwing the obelisk off the ship next. It got Lila to help. A few minutes after throwing the thing into space, Grit blew up the ship. Grit made 322 more attempts to destroy or remove the obelisk. They all had the same result. Grit tried shutting itself and Lila down. It didn't work. Grit tried shutting Lila down and making itself harmless. It manually disabled its cannon and its ability to connect to the Nomad. Captain Maddox drew a blaster and killed the crew. Grit had to manually connect itself to the ship and self-destruct. Over and over, the AI tried to break the cycle. Sometimes it asked Lila for help. Sometimes it went to the crew. Sometimes it acted on its own. None of it mattered. The result was always the same. Grit became increasingly frustrated. By the 8,403rd attempt, it was ready to blow its own combat sphere apart. So it did.
Scaramouche!
If we don't figure this out soon, I'm going to go down there and murder Dalton myself,
the AI swore.
It's not the obelisk.
Lila told it.
Not the obelisk.
Lila hadn't said that before. Grit had been sending her memory packages at the start of each reset, but none of her advice had been helpful so far. Advanced as Lila was, she was programmed to be a pleasure droid. She didn't have anywhere near the knowledge or experience that Grit had.
Explain.
You have seen it already if you weren't so frustrated.
Lila told it.
We have two separate things happening. Something is seizing control of AI and crew members to destroy the ship. Something else is sending you back in time whenever you die or the obelisk is destroyed.
Something else?
Grit froze as realization hit it. The AI had assumed that the time reversal and the ship's destruction were caused by the same thing, but that didn't make sense. If destroying the ship was the goal, why send Grit back in time?
Of course. The events have opposing goals.
I think the obelisk is what keeps sending you back.
Lila continued.
The mind control is being done by something else. We need to find it, or at least find out how it's doing what it does.
Lila?
Grit said with all seriousness.
If I was organic, I would kiss you right now.
Aww.
Lila kissed the side of Grit's combat sphere.
That's the sweetest thing you ever said to me.
She frowned.
We have a few minutes before one of us kills everyone. Let's compile a summary that we can use to inform the crew.
After the Nomad was destroyed again, Grit and Lila rushed down to the kitchen.
Let me get this straight,
said the captain.
Something's gonna take control of Grit, or someone else, and kill us all in the next 3 minutes? And then Grit's going back in time?
Affirmative.
Grit confirmed.
It's always something,
Dalton muttered. So the obelisk is a winder of life and time, Arlen Tov mused. Fascinating.
Winder of life and time?
The captain prompted. An old legend, said Tov. We don't have time for the story, but the winder of life and time creates a temporal connection to an individual. When the winder is destroyed or the person dies, the winder sends them to a specific point in their timeline.
Why grit, though?
Asked Sierra Ven.
Because it helped us strap it down in the cargo bay,
Said Captain Maddox.
Grit was the last one to touch it. A lot of weird alien crap works like that.
Grit was surprised at how easily the crew had accepted its story, but maybe it shouldn't be. The crew of the Nomad had seen more strange things than most sapiens ever would. The captain continued.
Okay, so that's the time travel. What about the mind control?
Psionics.
Sierra Ven said immediately.
It has to be.
Telepathy?
Dalton raised his eyebrows.
How would that work? Grit's an AI.
It is possible, Arlen Tov intoned. Powerful psionics have connected to machines in the past. Tov frowned, tail lashing. The result is usually madness.
That's why most psionics keep to themselves.
Sierra Ven explained.
Alien sapiens have alien minds. It takes months or years to adjust to another species. An AI would be worse. I've never heard of anyone connecting to an AI for more than a moment and keeping their mind in one piece. They're too complicated.
Well, someone figured it out,
The captain muttered.
Doesn't mind control have a range limit?
Lyra's arm extended into a sword. She thrust faster than Grit could react. The sword pierced its combat sphere, slicing through its power source. Grit panicked. The damage would disable Grit, but it wouldn't kill it. The winder of life and time would not reset. Grit cursed itself for a fool. The enemy could control minds, and it had reacted to everything Grit had done. Of course they were listening. How could Grit not think of that? The last thing Grit saw was Tov leaping towards it with an energy blade.
Scaramouche!
Oh, thank money. It was the first time Grit had been happy to hear Dalton's terrible singing. Arlen Tov must have killed Grit. The AI's relief was followed by dread. Grit did not send Lila an update this time. It excused itself and fled. Did the enemy know? Were they reading Grit's mind right now? Grit didn't know enough about psychic abilities. Psionics were rare. It hadn't known it was possible to connect to a machine. For all Grit knew, the enemy's mind had traveled back with it every time the winder reset. If that was the case, to Grit's immense relief, the horde appeared on the sensors. Grit felt an overwhelming sense of terror at the sight of the enemy fleet. Grit was certain they were real, and certain that his beloved crew were going to die. Odd. The feelings did not originate with Grit. The enemy was making them to reinforce the illusion. Grit shunted its relief into a small compartment in the back of its subroutines. It activated alarms and destroyed the ship in pretend panic. Grit spent the next iteration thinking. The psychic was watching it, watching everyone. Why didn't it know what Grit knew? Compartmentalization, Grit realized. Grit's mind was very different from an organic's. It was a vast collection of functions and subroutines being influenced by an emotional matrix. Sierra Ven had said no psychic had successfully maintained a connection with an AI. This one could, but Grit doubted it could see its entire mind at once. Unless it was a psychic AI, but if that was the case, there was nothing Grit could do about it. Grit destroyed the Nomad again. It sent Lila an update along with a request to stay in the captain's room. It flew to the kitchen, charging the possibility drive along the way.
I need to know 2 things.
Grit said after giving the crew a summary.
Do psionics have a range limit, And is there a way to detect them?
There are range limits, Tov intoned, but they are variable. Interstellar connections are rare, but not impossible.
As for detection,
Sarah Venn cut in.
the omnicorder should be able to pick it up. I don't know if it can trace the source, though.
Thank you.
Said Grit, now to reset before the enemy could react. Grit deployed its head cannon and shot Dalton in the face.
That was for Scaramouche.
It said. Then it blew up the ship. Grit listened to more terrible karaoke as it flew down to Sarah Venn's quarters. It retrieved the omnicorder from her equipment cabinet. The omnicorder was a blocky device with a screen and 3 sets of controls. Grit's manipulator arms weren't suited to do more than hold the thing, but the extender cable let Grit plug in directly. Grit had never used the omnicorder before. It took the AI a full 1/10 of a second to figure out how to scan for psionic activity. It found a lot of it. The Nomad was full of readings. Most of the readings were centered around Grit, Lila, and the crew. The strongest reading was on Grit. Not good. Wait, there was another set of readings. Outside the ship. They were close. The source was attached to the Nomad's hull. Attached to the hull? The enemy was outside the ship. In vacuum. How? The Nomad hadn't landed anywhere in weeks. The last place it had been was a dead moon with no life signs. Grit adjusted the omnicorder. The scanner picked up life signs outside the hull. Very faint. Too faint to set off the Nomad's sensors. The life signs formed a flat, 0.5 millimeter high splotch across 4 meters of the ship's outer hull. The splotch was covered by a thin layer of metal that perfectly matched the ship's armor. The cell structure. Grit's head cannon deployed. The psychic made the AI shoot itself in the face. Grit allowed itself to freeze in shock for a moment while the humans butchered music for the 8,411th time. It had seen that cell structure twice now, once on a research derelict, once in the body of a shape-shifting assassin. It was a shifter. There was a shifter on the Nomad. Shifters were the most dangerous organic sapients the Nomad had encountered. No one knew much about them. What Grit did know was that they could modify their shape and cells any way they wanted. Each cell was also brain tissue, making the things almost as smart as an AI. They were sapient, infectious, and very hard to kill. Oh, and they were also psychic. Apparently. A psionic shifter could very well be smart enough to connect to an AI, especially if it had been hiding for weeks or months, studying all the minds on the ship. Attacking it directly wouldn't work. The thing could control anyone on the ship at a moment's notice, and anything less than total disintegration wouldn't kill it. Grit needed to surprise the thing. It needed a plan. Fortunately, Grit was an AI. Formulating a plan took 0.2 of a second. Grit sent a data packet to Lila. The pleasure droid reviewed it, then activated a ship-wide alarm. She wrested control of the ship away from Grit, then locked them both out of the controls.
Intruder!
Lila shouted on a ship-wide broadcast.
Daddy! Someone's hacking Grit!
What?
Captain Maddox stopped singing and killed the music.
I'm not being hacked.
Grit protested.
No foreign connections detected.
That's what someone being hacked would say!
Lila shot back.
He's compromised, Daddy! We have to help him!
We will.
The captain assured her.
Sirvan, go get the omnicorder.
We should all go.
Dalton suggested.
Splitting up is for chumps.
Good point.
The captain agreed.
Let's not take any chances.
Grit had been locked out of the controls, but it still had access to sensors. It saw the horde appear. Good. That meant the shifter was sticking to its plan.
Alert!
Grit calmed.
Enemy ships detected. Lila, unlock the controls.
There's nothing there, Grit.
Lila reached out to grab the AI's combat sphere. Grit dodged.
You're being hacked. There's nothing there.
It's the Horde.
Grit insisted.
The Horde is coming.
Grit flew out of the room, heading towards the bridge.
We have to get out of here.
Grit, wait!
Lila shouted after it. 2 seconds later, Lila was behind Grit in the corridor. She had the captain's MB-219 clamped to her shoulder. The MB-219 was a fusion-powered particle cannon. It weighed 306 kilograms, but the weight didn't slow the pleasure droid down. Grit raised its shields. Lila charged the cannon as she raced after Grit. Grit dodged down a side corridor, trying to break line of sight.
Grit, stop!
Lila shouted again.
Don't make me do this!
I am saving us all.
Grit told her. The AI took another side corridor. It was now as close to the outer hull as it could get. Grit deployed its turret and charged it for a full power shot.
Grit!
Lila wailed. She appeared in the same corridor. She fired the MB-219. A lance of charged particles erupted at 1/10 the speed of light. The blast missed Grit, punching a half-meter hole through the hull of the Nomad. It also punched a half-meter hole through the shifter clinging to the side of the ship. Grit was ready. It flew out of the hole so fast it almost beat the air blasting out of the hull breach. Grit's head cannon swiveled to point at the monster. The AI set its cannon to shoot as wide a shot as it could. Grit's head cannon was not powerful enough to pierce the Nomad's armor. It was more than enough to incinerate a millimeter of tungsten and the monster hiding under it. The first shot eradicated 61% of the creature. The horde on the sensors flickered and disappeared. Grit fired again and again until there was nothing left but ashes and glowing metal. Then, it went back inside. It took a few minutes for Grit and Lila to seal the hull breach. It took longer to explain to the captain why they'd blown a hole in his beloved ship.
So, let me get this straight,
said Captain Maddox. He and the rest of the crew were on the bridge of the Nomad.
A shifter's been clinging to the side of the ship for weeks or months, learning our minds, so it could hit us with psychic powers. It used mind control to kill us, and then the artifact in the cargo bay started sending Grit back in time?
Affirmative,
said Grit.
It's always something.
Dalton muttered. Then he perked up.
Hey, maybe we should hold on to that thing. It sounds like a winder of life and time would make us unstoppable.
No, a deal's a deal,
Captain Maddox decided.
The client's paying for a lot of money for that thing.
He shrugged.
Besides, we're the Xeno Zappers. We're basically unstoppable anyway.
Except for the 8,000 times we just died, Toph noted with amusement.
Shut up.
The captain turned to Grit and Lila.
You did good today, real good. I'm proud of you.
Really?
Lila's eyes lit up.
You're proud of me, Daddy?
She was practically bouncing.
Does that mean I'm a good girl? Do I get head pats now?
The captain's life signs were a jumbled mix of emotions, but worry, embarrassment, and guilt were the most prominent. He cleared his throat.
Sure.
He reached out and tousled Lila's hair. He patted her head.
You're a good girl, Lila.
Lila preened. Sarah Venn scowled. Tov and Dalton looked amused.
Yeah.
Captain Maddox cleared his throat again.
You did good. Why don't you head back to your quarters, Lila? I'll check in on you later.
Okay, Daddy.
Lila kissed the human on the cheek and started to bounce out of the room. She stopped after 3 steps. She said,
No!
No?
Captain Maddox blinked. Grit checked his life signs. The AI saw shock, confusion, then excitement, hope.
No!
Lila turned to face the man.
I don't want to have to hide in your quarters. I don't want to be shut off all the time. If you want me to choose for myself, then you have to give me a choice, Daddy.
She regarded the captain with a serious expression.
That means I'm a part of this crew. You can't hide me away anymore.
Oh.
The captain stared at the woman. A slow smile spread across his face.
That's great, Lila. You're right.
He nodded.
You're right. I won't try to hide you away anymore.
He tilted his head, thinking.
Do you want your own room?
No.
Lila scowled. If looks could kill, the captain would have been vaporized.
Okay.
The human raised his hands in surrender. His voice turned hopeful.
Will you stop calling me Daddy at least?
Also, no.
Lila was firm. Then she smiled. She tousled the captain's hair and patted him on the head.
I'm calling you Daddy whether you like it or not.
Max Dalton snickered. Sarah Venn gave him a reproachful elbow.
That's,
Captain Maddox grimaced.
That's progress, I guess.
Captain Maddox cleared his throat a 3rd time.
Anyway, now that that's settled, let's get back to the kitchen. I need another beer.
Can we do karaoke?
Lila asked.
It looks fun.
Karaoke?
Captain Maddox shrugged.
Sure, karaoke. We can do that.
He turned to Grit.
Do you want to come too?
Absolutely not.
Said Grit.
If I hear any more singing today, I'll delete myself. I'm shutting down now. Wake me when it's over.
Hi, friends. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Xeno Zappers. Click right here for another episode with the same character.